Alternative finance is a sector which is actually being needed by ship owners in order to supply money and find sources for their own operations. What exactly is the company doing and how will you actually use the alternative financing in order to promote and why not support the ship owners?
Sure. I mean, my background is shipping finance going back 30 years, mainly on the banking side. And really what we're trying to do here is go back to basics in terms of the fairly straightforward requirement that shipping companies have for asset-backed financing. Shipping the industry and the cost of ships is very expensive. It's a highly intensive capital industry. And all that funding cannot come from equity. So there is, where the banks have pulled back dramatically in the last 10 years, there's a huge requirement ongoing, and it's taken some time for new entrants like Ascension Finance to come into that market and fill that gap. But trying to look at it on traditional terms and keep it as simple as possible and give owners what they need. From our point of view, we're building a business. Obviously we need to make a profit, but we're trying to do it in a balanced way that is giving the owner what they need at a reasonable cost, which also works for us to build a longer-term relationship within the industry.
There are two major challenges for ship owners right now. One of them is that they actually have to comply with the fuel requirements in the 2020, which actually requires even more money to go into the ship owning industry. And the other one is that the traditional banks have pulled out, as you probably said earlier on, from financing the ship owners. So what is the main incentive for a newcomer, for a new banker, in order to promote and give all this money to ship owners?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a business strategy. We are partnering with private equity investors that are interested in providing lending facilities to ship owners. We're the originator and manager of that business, and it's essentially to build a diversified portfolio of shipping finance assets that will generate a return for the investors within reason and at a reasonable cost for the ship owners, as a direct replacement for the finance that the banks used to provide years ago.
Is there a great interest from private equities and investors into getting the ship owners and the shipbuilding industry?
I mean, a lot of what we're doing is focused more on existing tonnage rather than new buildings. The amount of capital that we have to deploy right now is relatively limited, and so we're looking at smaller size transactions, which lends itself to second-hand vessels. Now, we're also willing to support owners with older vessels because we see less risk, but we can see good returns and a good strategy to help owners build their fleet in mid and older tonnage.
Could you also please comment on the 10th Annual Capital Link Greek Shipping Forum, the one that you are participating today?
Well, RMK, our sister company, has been supporting Capital Link for the last 3 or 4 years. We're always at this conference. We also attend other conferences arranged by Capital Link around the world. We find it a great place to network and take our business forward.